Hi students, this is Botany PSR. Today I am going to explain a new topic called process of rDNA technology. Processes of rDNA technology. What are the steps involved in it? How the rDNA technology will be done. Okay, rDNA technology means recombinant DNA technology. Okay, what are the steps involved in rDNA technology means isolation of DNA, fragmentation of DNA by restriction endonucleases. Third step, isolation of DNA fragment, also called desired gene. Don't confuse in these two. This is isolation of DNA. DNA means long DNA. Here it is DNA fragment. Okay? Isolation of DNA fragment or isolation of desired gene. Next, fourth step, isolation of plasmid. Plasmid acts as a vector. Ligation of desired gene into a vector. Insertion of rDNA into host cell. Culture of host cells in a medium at large scale. Eighth step, selection of transformed host cells. Next, obtaining the foreign gene product. Last step, downstream processing. These are the steps involved in rDNA technology. You want to study one by one. Okay? First one is isolation of DNA. Right? See, look at here. First of all, we have to isolate the DNA. That means inside the cell where the DNA is present, that is inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus means where the chromosomes contain, eukaryotic chromatin contains DNA, RNA, histone proteins, non-histone proteins, isn't it? Right. That type of DNA, the DNA that is present on chromatin should be isolated. Okay. Right. Nucleic acid, that is DNA, is the genetic material in most of the organisms. In most of the organisms, DNA acts as genetic material. Right. That DNA should be isolated. How does this DNA should be isolated? So, let us suppose this is the cell. Now I am drawing the plant cell. Plant cell. Plant cell means outermost layer is, this one is cell wall and this one is cell membrane. Okay? And we have to, chromosomes are present. So first of all, this is the plant cell now. Plant cell. The cell wall in plant cell is made up of cellulose, pectin. Okay? So first of all we have to lysis of cell wall. Lysis of cell wall. We have to remove the cell wall. Lysis of cell wall in plant cell. Lysis of cell. Lysis of cell wall in plant cell can be done by cellulase and pectinase. Lysis of cell wall or digestion of cell wall in plant cell can be done by using enzymes called cellulase and pectinase. If the cell is taken as this in fungal cell is taken means fungal cell wall is made up of chitin. That's why we have to use the enzyme called chitinase. So next, if bacterial cell is taken means in bacterial cell, which enzyme is used means lysozyme. If animal cell is taken means there is no cell wall. So lysis of cell wall is not required for animal cell. Okay? Right. Digestion of cell wall in plant cell can be done by enzymes like cellulase and pectinase. Next, in fungal cell by chitinase. That means fungal cell wall is made up of chitin. That's why we have to remove the chitin means chitinase. In bacterial cell, lysozyme is used. So cell wall is removed, and then cell with cell membrane. Then what we have to do? This is the cell membrane. Next one, lysis of cell membrane. Lysis of cell membrane can be done by detergents. High powered detergents are used. If high powered detergents are used, cell membrane can be removed. First of all, cell wall is removed by enzymatic action, and cell membrane lysis can be done by high powered detergents. Next, so cell membrane is removed means finally what is present? That is protoplasm is present. In that protoplasm, DNA present, RNA present, and proteins are also present, isn't it? Various substances are present inside the cell, right? So we have to remove the RNA removed by RNase, ribonuclease. RNA can be removed by RNase, and proteins are removed by protease. And finally, which substance is obtained? DNA is obtained. Finally, DNA is obtained. The obtained DNA, for this we have to add chilled ethanol. Then purified DNA is obtained. Purified DNA is also called precipitated DNA obtained. That will be separated by spooling. Separated by a process called spooling. Right. Again, I am telling my dear students, this is very, very important. So, isolation of DNA is completed. First of all, digestion of cell wall can be done by enzymatic action. If a plant cell is taken, enzymes required for lysis of cell wall means cellulase and pectinase. Lysis of cell wall in fungal cell means chitinase. Lysis of cell wall in bacterial cell means by lysozyme. Then lysis of cell membrane or digestion of cell membrane can be done by high powered detergents. Cell membrane is removed means which substance is present? Protoplasm. From the protoplasm, various components are present. DNA present, RNA present, proteins present. RNA can be removed by RNase. Proteins can be removed by protease. The obtained DNA, for that obtained DNA we have to add chilled ethanol. Then DNA should be purified. So DNA should be purified by adding chilled ethanol. That purified DNA is also called precipitated DNA. Purified DNA is obtained by adding chilled ethanol. So this purified DNA is also called precipitated DNA. This can be done in the test tube. So in the test tube, this DNA will appear in fine thread-like structures in the suspension. So we have to separation of fine thread-like structures in suspension is called spooling. Separation of fine thread-like DNA in suspension is called spooling. Okay, so that means first step is completed, my dear students. Isolation of DNA. Okay, right. Next one. Next, what is the second step? Fragmentation of DNA by restriction endonuclease. That means the long DNA is obtained. This is the long double-stranded DNA. So we have to cut this by restriction enzymes. So by using restriction enzymes, restriction endonuclease, the long DNA can be cut by restriction endonuclease so that DNA fragments will be formed. DNA fragments will be formed. So DNA fragment 1, fragment 2, fragment 3, like that. So many DNA fragments will be formed. The formed DNA fragments will be placed on agarose gel. What is that? This one is so called agarose gel. Agarose gel medium. Here enzymes are placed. Enzyme 4, enzyme 3, enzyme 2, enzyme 1. And here these are so called wells. Wells are there. Okay. Next, these DNA fragments are placed on agarose gel medium. What is that agarose gel? Agarose gel is a natural matrix medium. The medium used in separation of DNA fragments is agarose gel. It is a natural polymer obtained from seaweeds. It is obtained from red algae. Okay, so the matrix or medium used for separation of DNA fragments is agarose gel medium. So it is a natural polymer obtained from seaweeds like red algae. Right, those DNA fragments will be placed on agarose gel medium. Then the DNA fragments separation will occur. So these are the DNA fragments. So 1, 2, 3. Now I am writing here number of fragments, number of cuts, number of recognition sites. Okay, so these are the long DNA fragments, these are the short DNA fragments. Right, this is the long DNA fragment. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number of fragments 8. How many cuts are there means we have to say 7. Fragments minus 1 is equal to number of cuts. Number of recognition sites also 7. Okay, so let us suppose this is the A, this is the B, and let us suppose this is the cathode and this is the anode. These are the DNA bands or DNA fragments. Okay, the fragments which are obtained by restriction enzyme, those fragments will be placed on agarose gel. The smaller DNA fragments will move farther away. The smaller DNA fragments will move farther. So that is, smaller the DNA fragments means farther away they move. Okay, so that means this A is represented as cathode, B is represented as anode. Largest DNA fragments are at A. Smallest DNA fragments are at B. So that is smallest DNA fragments, largest DNA bands. Okay, largest DNA bands are at cathode. Smallest DNA bands are at smallest DNA bands. Okay. So that means if the DNA fragments are smaller means they move farther away. So why the DNA bands will move towards this side means the DNA is negative charge. The DNA is negative charge. That's why they move towards anode means positive charge. Cathode means negative charge. So cathode is negative charge, anode is positive charge. That's why the DNA bands will move towards anode. Towards anode. Why these DNA fragments are moved from this distance to that distance? That means DNA is negative charge. They travel, they move from cathode to anode. They move towards positive charge. They move towards anode. The DNA bands will move towards anode. That is very, very important. So the DNA bands will move from cathode to anode. The DNA bands move towards anode. Why the DNA bands are moved means as DNA is negative charge, that's why they move towards positive charge. Okay, right. Next that is enzyme 4. Next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many DNA bands are present? That is 5 fragments are present. Number of cuts means 4. Number of recognition sites means 4. Okay. Next one. Yeah, that is enzyme 3. Next enzyme 2. Enzyme 2 means 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how many fragments are there? 4 fragments are there. Cuts means 3. Recognition sites means 3. And enzyme 1 only one fragment is there. That is uncut. That is it is uncut. Uncut. Number of fragments only 1. Cuts means 0. Okay. Recognition sites 0. Like that we have to count. Okay. So the DNA bands or DNA fragments will move towards anode. DNA fragments will move from cathode to anode. So larger DNA fragments are at cathode A. Smallest DNA fragments are at anode B. So these DNA fragments are not visible to our naked eye. So these are all nothing but that is DNA bands. These are all DNA bands. These DNA bands are not visible to our naked eye. That's why to observe those DNA fragments, we have to stain that DNA fragments. So staining substance of DNA is, that is ethidium bromide. What is that? Ethidium bromide. And then we have to use ultraviolet radiation. And then these DNA bands will appear in bright orange color. DNA bands will appear in dash color. bright orange colored DNA bands. The staining substance of DNA is ethidium bromide, and then followed by ultraviolet radiations. Okay, so the DNA bands movement will be observed based on the size. So largest DNA bands are at A, smallest DNA bands are at B. So based on the size means that type of effect is so called sieving effect. Sieving effect means based on size. Okay, this is very important, my dear students. Again I am explaining the long DNA which was isolated can be cut by restriction endonuclease. This was called restriction enzyme dilution. The obtained DNA fragments will be placed on agarose gel medium. The matrix or the medium used for separation of DNA fragments is agarose gel medium. Agarose gel medium. It is a natural polymer obtained from seaweeds like red algae. Okay, so larger DNA fragments are at cathode, smaller DNA bands are at anode. Why the DNA band should move towards anode means the DNA is negatively charged. That's why they move towards anode. Anode is positive charge. DNA is negative charge. Okay, larger DNA fragments are at A. Smaller DNA fragments are at B. The smaller the DNA fragments means the farther away they move. Okay, right. Based on the size, the DNA fragments show movement. Based on the size means that type of effect is so called sieving effect. What is sieving effect? The DNA bands will move towards anode based on size. The DNA bands will move towards anode based on size. This is so called sieving effect. Okay, right. So in the textbook it has given a figure like this. How many fragments are there means 8 fragments. Cuts means 7 like this. Okay. So the enzyme 4. This is enzyme 4. This is enzyme 3. This is enzyme 2. This is enzyme 1 is uncut. That is that enzyme does not cut that DNA. So only one fragment is there. Okay. So that is so many DNA fragments are obtained. So we have to separate the separation of DNA fragments. Separated DNA fragments are cut out from the agarose gel. Separation of DNA fragments. Separation of DNA fragments. Separation of DNA bands can be done by a process called gel electrophoresis. What is that process called? Gel electrophoresis. Separation of DNA bands, separation of DNA fragments can be done by a process called gel electrophoresis. Separated DNA fragments are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted from the agarose gel is called elution. What is that? Elution. What is elution means? The DNA fragments are separated now. The separated DNA fragments are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted from the agarose gel. Separated DNA fragments are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted from the agarose gel. That process is called elution. Finally, of these DNA fragments, that is isolation of desired DNA. Isolation means selection. Selection of desired DNA fragment can be done by a process called Southern blotting technique. Southern sadharana blotting technique. Okay, so gel electrophoresis it is first and later sadharana blotting technique. This word is not present in our syllabus. So try to remember these two. What is the difference between these two? Separation of DNA fragments can be done by a process called gel electrophoresis. Okay, those DNA bands will be on agarose gel. From that agarose gel, the DNA bands which are separated, we have to cut on the agarose gel and extracted from the agarose gel is called elution. We have obtained so many DNA bands. From those DNA bands, we have to select the desired DNA fragment. Selection of desired DNA fragment can be done by a process called sadharana blotting technique. So finally, the desired DNA fragment will be selected. This is the selection of or isolation of desired DNA fragment. See, isolation of DNA fragment. This process is also completed. Okay. Isolation of plasmid. Where do you find the plasmid? Plasmids are found in bacteria. The bacterial cell may contain 1 or 2 plasmids. Some bacterial cells may contain 15 to 100 plasmids, or some bacterial cells may contain 100 or more plasmids. So that means, let us suppose this is the bacterial cell and this is the plasmid. This is the plasmid. Okay, this plasmid can be separated. First of all, it has a cell wall. Cell wall can be lysed by which enzyme? Lysozyme. Cell wall of bacteria can be lysed by enzyme called lysozyme. And cell membrane, cell with cell membrane, and later by a process called centrifugation. Finally plasmid is isolated. Right, plasmid is isolated. So isolation of plasmid can be done by initially lysozyme and then centrifugation. Finally plasmid is isolated. See, isolation of plasmid. Okay, so again I am telling my students, these plasmids are found in bacteria. First of all, lysis of cell wall in bacteria can be done by lysozyme enzyme and then centrifugation. Finally plasmid is isolated. Okay, right. See, next step, ligation of desired gene into a vector. See, look at here my dear students, this is the desired gene, and from this side we have isolated the plasmid. Plasmid is isolated. This is a plasmid. This plasmid we have to cut. So cut the plasmid. Cut the plasmid with same restriction endonuclease. So that means the plasmid which was isolated is cut with the same restriction endonuclease. Why? Because to obtain the sticky ends. So the enzyme that is used for cutting the DNA, the same enzyme is useful for cutting the plasmid also. Why? Because to obtain the sticky ends, So for cutting the DNA and for cutting the plasmid, same restriction endonuclease was used. Why? Because to obtain the sticky ends. Next one, and this desired gene was ligated with enzyme called DNA ligase and the process called ligation. So this is the DNA, this is the plasmid, and this we are ligating. This is, that is desired gene. This is the plasmid. The desired gene is combined with the plasmid with the help of enzyme called DNA ligase, process called ligation, and the obtained structure called rDNA. rDNA full form means recombinant DNA, also called chimeric DNA. So this one is called rDNA. So this is the desired gene and this is the cut plasmid. So this desired gene is combined with cut plasmid and the structure obtained is rDNA. So this rDNA, other name chimeric DNA. See, ligation of desired gene into a vector. Which enzyme is used? DNA ligase. Process called ligation. Next, insertion of rDNA into the host cell. Okay. This rDNA should be inserted into the host cell. This is the host cell. This is the naked DNA. It should be transformed into the host cell by a process called transformation. What is transformation? Uptake of naked DNA into the recipient cell is called transformation. So this is the naked rDNA, which is introduced into the host cell by a process called transformation. So now this is rDNA entered. Okay, and this is the desired gene. So this one is called rDNA. So now the host cell is with rDNA. Now the host cell with rDNA is called transformant. What is a transformant? The host cell with rDNA is called transformant or a transformed host cell. How this rDNA enters into the host cell? It occurs by different methods. Okay, the rDNA enters into the host cell by a process called transformation. This is the competent cell. So this rDNA enters into the host cell by a process called transformation. Now this cell is with rDNA. The cell with rDNA is called transformant. How can you remember? Means process called transformation. So what is transformant or transformed host cell? The host cell with rDNA is called transformant. How does this rDNA enters into the host cell? It can be occurs by different methods. That is, different methods means, that is, one is called heat shock method. This heat shock method can be applicable for bacterial cells. Right? How can they do? That is, Let us suppose this is the rDNA. rDNA. So, and this is the bacterial cell. Okay, and first of all, we have to keep it on ice. First of all, we have to keep it on ice, and then it is heated at a temperature of 42 degrees, and then it is again placed on ice, and finally what happens means the host cell is with rDNA. Okay, so the rDNA is placed on bacterial cell, and this bacterial cell is placed on ice, and after some time it should be heated at a temperature of 42 degrees centigrade. That's why the method is so called heat shock method, and then it is transferred to ice, and finally what happens, the outside rDNA enters into the bacterial cell. So like this the rDNA enters into the bacterial cell. In bacterial cells the method applicable is heat shock method. Next one, that is second method is micro injection. Micro injection can be applicable for animal cells. What type of cells? Animal cells. Let us suppose this is the animal cell. Now this is the rDNA. Okay, and this is the nucleus. So the rDNA is introduced into the nucleus of animal cell. So this is so called micro injection. What is that? Micro injection. So that is rDNA is introduced into the nucleus of animal cell. That is so called micro injection. Micro injection can be applicable for animal cells. And the third method is called biolistic or gene gun method. Biolistic or gene gun method. This can be applicable for plant cells. Okay, here let us suppose this is a plant cell, and here that is gold or tungsten. These are high velocity microparticles. These microparticles are coated with rDNA. Gold or tungsten are coated with rDNA. When these are released means when these are bombarded with plant cell. This is the plant cell now. Bombarded with plant cell means this rDNA enters into the plant cell. By which method? That is biolistic or gene gun method. That is like a bullet, this rDNA enters into the plant cell. Here the what type of particles are used means microparticles like gold or tungsten. Why these are used means these are high velocity microparticles. So they have taken the high velocity microparticles like gold or tungsten. These are coated with rDNA. When those are released means when these are bombarded with plant cells, finally these particles enter into the plant cell. So these particles are entered means rDNA also enters. So this is so called biolistic or gene gun method. It should be applicable for plant cells. And next one that is disarmed pathogen vectors. disarmed pathogen vectors. Disarmed pathogen vectors can be applicable for both plants and animals. For both plants and animals. In the previous class, we noted that in plants, which one is used as a vector means agrobacterium. In animals means that is retroviruses. Normal plant cells should be converted into tumor cells by using TA plasmid of agrobacterium. Normal animal cells should be converted into cancerous cells by retroviruses. So disarmed pathogen vectors can be applicable for both plant cells and animal cells. And lastly, that is specific concentration of calcium. This is also for bacterial cells. That means, let us suppose this is the rDNA. This is the rDNA. And this should be placed on a medium. What is that medium? Calcium. Finally, this enters into this. Okay. So, try to remember, this transformation is of different methods. This transformation is of different methods. It depends upon the host cell. So, whether it is heat shock method or biolistic method or microinjection or disarmed pathogen vectors, it depends upon the host. Whether this host cell is bacteria means here is bacteria, here is bacteria. If the host cell is bacteria means both heat shock method and specific concentration of calcium is used. Okay. For bacterial cells means both heat shock method and specific concentration of calcium is used. Next, for animal cells means microinjection and disarmed pathogen vectors. For animal cells means we have to use microinjection and disarmed pathogen vectors. For plant cells means biolistic method and disarmed pathogen vectors. Disarmed pathogen vectors should be used for both plants and animals. So whatever the method it may be, the rDNA enters into the host cell. The host cell, whether it is bacteria means heat shock method or calcium concentration. Whether it is plant cell means biolistic or gene gun method. Whether it is animal cell means that is microinjection. Disarmed pathogen vectors should be applicable for both plant cells and animal cells. Okay? Right. So whatever the process may be, the rDNA enters into the host cell by a process called transformation. The host cell with rDNA is called transformant. Okay. Right. Right, this is the rDNA and this is the host cell and together called transformant, isn't it? So now this rDNA undergoes replication, that is, it undergoes gene cloning by, it is a DNA, that's why it is so called DNA polymerase. So many rDNAs are formed. Many rDNAs. Okay, many rDNAs. Right. So the host cell with many rDNAs is formed. Okay. Now this cell is placed on agar medium. Agar medium. Agar is obtained from red algae like Gracilaria and Gelidium. Now this is agar medium. This is nothing but agar medium. And this cell is placed. So the host cell with many rDNAs is placed on a medium called agar medium. Here this is the host cell. This is the host cell. One host cell is present. So this agar medium is useful for multiplication of host cells. Multiplication of host cells. That means the number of cells will be multiplied. The number of cells will be multiplied. And this is the agar medium only. So these rDNAs enter into the host cells. Okay, so this is the desired gene. Desired gene. So some host cells will contain one rDNA, some host cells may contain two rDNAs, some host cells may contain more than two rDNAs. So whatever it may be, the host cell containing rDNA is called, this cell is called transformant. Transformant. The cell with rDNA. With one rDNA or two rDNAs or more than two rDNAs is so called transformant. And the cell without rDNA is called untransformant. Untransformant. So some cells are with rDNAs and some cells are without rDNAs. The host cells with rDNAs are called transformants. The cells without rDNAs are called non-transformants, also called untransformants. Okay? See, look at here. Insertion of RNA into the host cell, that is by different methods: heat shock method, bioelastic, microinjection, disarmed pathogen vectors, or calcium concentration. Next, culture of host cells in a medium at large scale. That is, what medium is used? Agar medium is used. So one rDNA becomes many rDNAs. That process is called gene cloning. DNA becomes many DNAs. That is called gene cloning. Involved enzyme is DNA polymerase. As DNA is formed, enzyme involved is DNA polymerase. Next, selection of transformed host cells. Of those, which are the transformants, which are the non-transformants. That one we have to select. Okay? Look at here, my dear students. See, if this is the rDNA, this is the rDNA, and this gene would be the, if desired gene is ampicillin resistant, if desired gene is ampicillin resistant, what the desired gene we have taken means, let us suppose ampicillin resistant gene. Okay, if this is introduced into the, if it is introduced into the host cell means, now this transformant is ampicillin resistant. Okay, so if desired gene would be the ampicillin resistant means, that was introduced into the host cell means, now this is host cell is resistant to ampicillin. Okay, the host cell is ampicillin resistant. Now it should be placed on ampicillin medium. Ampicillin medium. This is the agar medium. Agar medium. Okay, and this is the transformant. And this is the non-transformant. So this is transformant. And this is the non-transformant. Non-transformant is also called untransformant. So this gene is ampicillin resistant gene now. So where it is placed in ampicillin agar medium plus ampicillin medium. Agar medium plus ampicillin. So this cell will grow. The transformant will grow. The transformant will survive on ampicillin medium. Why? Because this cell has ampicillin resistant gene. Now this cell will die. This cell will not grow, it will die. Why? Because this is the cell without rDNA. No rDNA means no ampicillin resistant gene. No other type of gene means it cannot survive in ampicillin medium. So like that, these cells are placed on ampicillin medium. Which are the transformants, which are the non-transformants? Like that, selection of transformed host cells can be done by using a medium called agar medium with ampicillin medium. Okay. So once again I am telling. So the host cell, this rDNA enters into the host cell. This rDNA undergoes multiplication, that is replication. So that is producing multiple copies of desired gene. Producing multiple copies of desired gene is called gene cloning. involved enzyme in gene cloning is DNA polymerase. Now the host cell with many rDNAs is placed on agar medium. Now the host cell undergoes many daughter cells. The host cells divide and produce many daughter cells by placing on a medium called agar medium. The rDNAs also enter into the host cells. rDNAs also enter into the daughter cells. Some host cells are with rDNAs, some host cells are without rDNAs. The host cell with rDNAs are called transformants and the host cells without rDNAs are called untransformants, also called non-transformants. Okay, if desired gene would be the ampicillin resistant gene, this was introduced into the host cell means this transformed cell is resistant to ampicillin. Okay, now this would be transferred to agar medium containing ampicillin medium. As the cell contain ampicillin resistant gene, this transformant will grow. This transformant will survive on this medium. Here there is no rDNA means no desired gene like ampicillin resistant gene. That's why the cell will die. So in this case, ampicillin resistant gene can be considered as selectable marker. In this case, ampicillin resistant gene can be considered as selectable marker. Okay, selection of transformed host cells is also completed. Next, obtaining the foreign gene product. Next, obtaining the foreign gene product. Obtaining the foreign gene product. These transformants are placed in test tube, that is laboratory means small scale production. What we have to use in laboratory. For large scale production means in bioreactors. That is obtaining the foreign gene product. So that means these transformed host cells are placed in laboratory means, that is in test tube. Small scale production can be done. From that desired gene, products are obtained. Desired gene is there now. So these transformants are placed in test tube means small scale products will be obtained in the laboratory. Whereas to produce large products means large scale production can be done in bioreactors. Okay. Next one, downstream processing. Downstream processing means these products, that means from the gene products are obtained now, from the desired gene, from the desired gene products are obtained. These products, first of all, we have to separate, and later we have to do purification. Separation of products and purification of products. So downstream processing involves two steps. Initially, separation and purification. So separation and purification of products should be done before the product should be released into the market. Okay. So what we discussed means the whole entire process. Again I am saying, my dear students, first of all, lysis of cell wall. Next one, the lysis of cell wall can be done by enzymatic action. That lysis of cell wall not required for animal cell. Lysis of cell wall in fungal cell by chitinase, plant cell by cellulase pectinase, bacterial cell by lysozyme, cell membrane lysis by high powered detergents. From the protoplasm, RNA removed by RNAs, proteins removed by protease. Obtained DNA is purified by chilled ethanol. DNA is purified by adding chilled ethanol. Okay. Next one, the separation of DNA in suspension is called spooling. Separation of DNA in suspension is called separation of long DNA threads in suspension is called spooling. That is isolation of DNA. That DNA which was isolated is cut with restriction enzymes, restriction endonuclease. This was called restriction endonuclease diation. Okay, so many DNA fragments are formed. These DNA fragments are placed on a medium called matrix called agarose gel medium. The separation of DNA fragments can be done by a process called gel electrophoresis. Desired gene can be selected by a process called, that is, Sadharana blotting technique. The separated DNA bands are removed. The separated DNA bands are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted those DNA bands from the agarose gel is called elution. Okay, the desired gene should be selected. Isolate the plasmid. Next one, we have to isolate the plasmid. Isolation of plasmid can be done by, first of all, cell wall lysis by lysozyme and then centrifugation. Finally, plasmid is isolated. Isolated plasmid is cut with same restriction endonuclease. Why we have to use the same restriction endonuclease? To obtain the same stickions. To obtain the same stickions. So for cutting the desired, for cutting the DNA and for cutting the plasmid, same restriction endonuclease was used. Suppose if DNA was cut with E carbon, plasmid also cut with E carbon. If DNA was cut with Hind 3, plasmid also cut with Hind 3 only, like that. Why the same restriction endonuclease was used means to obtain same stickions. Okay, next one. So the DNA fragment is ligated to plasmid by a process called ligation using enzyme DNA ligase. Which structure is formed? rDNA, also called chimeric DNA. Full name recombinant DNA. Okay, this rDNA is introduced into the host cell by different methods. Plant cell means biolistic or gene gun method. Animal cell means microinjection. Bacteria means heat shock method. Temperature required 42 degrees centigrade. Okay, specific concentration of calcium is used for bacterial cells. So disarmed pathogen vectors can be used for both plant cells and animal cells. So whatever the method it may be, the rDNA is introduced into the host cell. The host cell with rDNA is called transformant. So this rDNA which is present in the host cell undergoes replication and form many rDNAs. One rDNA becomes many rDNAs, that is producing multiple copies of rDNA is called gene cloning. Involved enzyme for gene cloning is DNA polymerase. The host cell with many rDNAs is placed on agar medium containing ampicillin medium. Agar medium and ampicillin medium. If the desired gene would be the ampicillin resistant means the transformant should also be converted into ampicillin resistant. So the transformants will grow on that medium. The non-transformants, the untransformants will not grow. Untransformants will die in that medium. Untransformants will not grow in that medium. Okay? By that, selection of transformed cells and elimination of untransformants should be done. In this case, ampicillin resistant gene should be considered as selectable marker. So these transformants will be converted into laboratory means small scale products should be obtained. Whereas for large scale products means we have to use bioreactors. Okay, for small scale production means laboratory. For large scale production means bioreactors. That means products means desired gene. From the desired gene, products are obtained. Okay, those products small scale means in laboratory. For large scale production means bioreactors. So products which are obtained, first of all they should be separated and later purification. So separation purification can be done by a process called downstream processing. Downstream processing involves how many steps? Two steps. Initially separation and finally purification. Finally the products which are purified, those are released into the market. Okay, and in that agarose gel, smaller the DNA fragments will move towards anode. Smaller the DNA fragments means the farther away they move. The DNA bands will appear in dash color, bright orange color. Staining substance is ethidium bromide. And later which one is used means ultraviolet radiation. Okay. I think you have understood, my dear students, and we will meet in the next class.